What's good, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. This is BizCoon coming back here with another reaction video. Once again, we are revisiting Finding Sky. The last time we reacted to Finding Sky, it was in the context of Pride Month falling off and why she was glad that it fell off. And now we are watching a video about LGBT conservatives, which might sound like an oxymoron for some, but they exist. It's like, if anyone has ever seen that one Twitter meme, or it's like, I'm an atheist who believes in God. We exist. And it's like, okay, whatever. But here, LGBT conservatives do in fact exist, and it is not a contradiction whatsoever. Now, I've actually made my position clear in a few videos that I don't really believe in the political spectrum. I don't consider myself to be liberal or conservative, left or right. And that doesn't necessarily make me moderate or centrist. Personally, I choose not to identify with such things. I prefer to identify as myself. I am none of your business, which is what BizCoon is short for. But either way, before we get started, make sure you watch Sky's original video before watching this as a means of showing support. And once you're done, you can come back to this video and leave a like and subscribe and all that. And let's go ahead and see the truth behind whether or not you can be gay and conservative, or right, or Republican, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and just get started.
With conservatism traditionally holding an anti-gay position, being LGBT often meant that you were defaulted to the Democratic Party. But over the last decade, it seems like LGBT members who consider themselves conservative have been popping up left and right.
Oh my god, talk to me, I'm a conservative.
And they face a lot of backlash for doing so. Terms like traitor, friendly fire, and my personal favorite, pick me, are common in—
Yep, pretty much. If you're a minority of any kind, doesn't matter if you're gay or black or some other thing that people on the far left pretend to care about, you will be branded as things like Uncle Tom or a traitor, or I guess in her case a pick-me, which tends to only be really used against women in particular. I've never really seen a man be called a pick-me, but yeah, they'll call you things like Uncle Tom and traitor for speaking out against what they think should be the norm, so
insults thrown around at those who go against the status quo. I recently saw a video with Matt Bernstein and ContraPoints titled LGBT Conservatives that gave me some insight into how people on the left view this group on the right, and I wanted to comment on some of the things they said.
Yes, queer people should be allowed to be conservative, and I'm not going to like strip them of that, but also I'm still going to unfortunately think less of them.
Shut up, bitch.
Take their self-hate and then use that.
Yep, self-hate, that's what it is. I made this point in my previous reaction, by the way. Go ahead and check it out. But yeah, I made the point that if you try to go against what they think you should stand for, yeah, they'll call you self-hating. Once again, Uncle Tom, traitor, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me. Yep.
To hate other people and use that to bolster politics that's going to hurt all of us. Well, at a certain point, self-hate has become other hate. You're passing it on, you're sort of projecting it outwards.
If there were straight people running around naked, whipping each other in the street, people would have a problem with that too. So it's not fair to say that it's just projected homophobia that people are condemning this type of extremism. People are going—
Yep. People, there's internalized bitch hatred, which is what I refer to the M word as. I refuse to say that word because it pretty much lost all meaning. It should be up on the screen right now. But I made a joke within the previous reaction of internalized homophobia, and it's only a matter of time before people start accusing me of being a self-hating traitor with internalized homophobia, even though I don't identify as conservative or liberal. I identify as myself.
to call out inappropriate behavior, gay or not. When members of our own community are saying that kids and kink should coexist, people are going to say something. It doesn't matter that the person who was saying that is gay. It would be just as much of an issue if the person saying it was straight. The difference is that gay people already have the stereotype of being sexual deviants. So when stuff like this gets...
Yeah, I mean, as someone who is gay myself, I'm not going to say that I haven't, you know, let's say, explored feelings, but those feelings shouldn't be of anyone's business.
Trade in the media, it reinforces all of those negative stereotypes. There's got to be people within the LGBT community calling this type of stuff out so that the public can be aware that this type of behavior isn't something that's supported by the entirety of the community.
And that's exactly what I'm doing with this video, and that's exactly what I did with my previous reaction. I would like to call out the community for their... I don't even want to call it double standards, because I don't even think they see it that way. They view it as just an expression. I just noticed this. I am not my political beliefs. Yeah, pretty much me all day. I am not defined by what I believe in, and I'm also not defined by what makes my dick hard. I am defined by who I am as a person, regardless of what I believe in, and regardless of what makes my dick hard.
A lot of the LGBT conservative creators aren't even that conservative when you listen to their viewpoints. They're really just kind of moderate or center-right leaning.
Yep. And that's the thing. The far left will accuse anyone even remotely within the center. You could be center-left for all they know, and they'll still find a way to call you far right because you don't believe the way they do, which is what the Hassan Piker cinematic universe does to Ethan Klein. They pretty much accuse him of being far right simply because he doesn't support terrorists and believes that Israel has a right to exist. Those are the two positions that the far left absolutely hates, which is why Hassan and his group of dick riders constantly harass him. And guess what? Ethan's not playing around. There's a lawsuit in the works, and he's suing some of them for copyright infringement.
It's just that if you even slightly disagree with the left, you get ostracized and labeled as a homophobic, self-hating, projecting, pick-me, grifter Republican.
Yup, all of those buzzwords right there. Pretty much all of the buzzwords that they'll throw at you. And it doesn't matter. You could be one of the nicest people in the world and do all sorts of great things for the community. But if you fall even slightly outside what they deem acceptable, they'll have no mercy on you.
Certain part of conservative media that like you see more and more queer people occupying, which is the conservative queer influencer. And it's like they amass these really big audiences.
The fact that queer people can occupy these conservative spaces and amass such a large audience should prove that there is growing acceptance on the right for LGBT. There are tons of videos online saying...
And that's the irony. No, there's some... Let's call them people that I know in real life. There's this one section of this Discord server that we have. Oh my god, they're gonna find out. No, no, I'm fucking around and eventually I'll find out, but I don't care. I accept whatever happens. But yeah, they constantly shit on conservatives and right-wingers and Republicans, calling out nonsense bills or whatever that they're trying to pass. Like, apparently one of them mentioned genital inspections on children, and another wants to make being trans illegal in Texas. You know damn well those types of bills aren't going to pass. Granted, I don't really know what happens within the GOP because I don't really care about the GOP. I don't care about the GOP and I don't care about the DNC. I don't care about any of that stuff. I only care about what's relevant to me. Alright? But I've seen some of the things that this friend group that I'm a part of talks about. And if they find out that I'm talking shit about them, then so be it. I'm willing to reap what I sow.
How people got kicked out of the LGBT community and pushed away from the left, but were perfectly welcomed on the conservative side. Now, that doesn't mean that all conservatives are welcoming, but not all Democrats are welcoming either.
Yep.
Even Obama was once against gay marriage.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Yeah, they keep talking shit about right-wingers, conservatives, and Republicans, but I haven't once seen them condemn Democrats, liberals, and left-wingers who also spout the same kind of nonsense that the far-right radical extremism exists on both sides, okay? That's the point that I'm trying to make. But I've never have I seen them call out the likes of Hassan, or the firebombing of Teslas, or the rioting. Well, I haven't actually been on that part of the Discord server that I'm a part of in a while, because I couldn't stand how one-sided it was. And I'm sure members of... I'm not going to say what Discord server it is that I'm talking about, or this friend group. If they know, they know. I'm calling you out. I've seen what you guys have said, and I don't like it.
Gays and lesbians should be able to get married. I struggle with this. I have friends.
I have a gay friend.
I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman.
I don't personally consider myself conservative, but I do get grouped in with them because we talk about a lot of similar issues. And
I can't wait to be grouped in with conservatives, even though I don't consider myself to be one. No, I remember coming across this video a long time ago in my recommendations, where it said, where it's almost like, where apparently not identifying as liberal or conservative somehow makes you conservative. Fuck you.
and hold some similar positions. As both a gun owner and a Latina admirer, you can see where
Bro, Sky is literally Shadow the Hedgehog. I just love Latina Sonic. And uses guns in his video game. Sky, is there something that you're not telling us?
I struggle to commit to one political party, but I've always thought of this as a good thing because it allows me to understand both perspectives and be especially vigilant to the way members of each political party portray their viewpoints. This is precisely why I use the sponsor of today's video, Ground News, to see—
Oh, let's go, of course. Ground News. No. Hopefully one day I'll be able to get such a... No, literally, it seems everyone that talks about this kind of stuff has a Ground News sponsor. Nux has one, Religion for Breakfast has one, Geography Now has one, Sky has one, and hopefully maybe I'll be able to get one too. Give me an excuse to actually use it. Let's go ahead and jump ahead.
That's more of a steal than the 2020 election. A significant portion of this
Okay.
hour-long conversation is them trying to come up with reasons why an LGBT member might be conservative. They raise these possibilities. Maybe they're grifting. Maybe they're a pick-me. Maybe they hate themselves. They keep looking for psychological reasons, but it never occurs to them that maybe it's because their own community has turned on them for having disagreements. Maybe it's because even mentioning that trans women being in women's sports might not be a good idea will get you immediately labeled as transphobic.
Oh, I think I mentioned this in my previous reaction to Finding Sky, where this friend of mine tried to compare this issue to Jim Crow, even though I don't really think they're exactly the same. I mean, it's a scientific fact that biological males are naturally stronger than biological females. It doesn't really matter how much hormone replacement therapy or surgery that you get. You're still going to be biologically stronger than a cis woman, which I'm pretty sure is the basis for why people would disapprove of trans women and cis women sports. Honestly, if you ask me, we should just give trans women their own independent league, so that way they can just face each other and not have to worry about injuring cis women simply because of their much physically stronger.
Maybe it's because any condemning of public indecency at pride parades will get you called a right-wing homophobe. Eventually, people are going to start drifting from a political party that makes no effort to acknowledge any alternative perspectives.
Unrelated. I meant to comment on this fursuit. It's a very, I mean, seeing as I have a furry avatar, I was going to comment that I think that suit is pretty, but I think I just incriminated myself.
People will condemn LGBT members for leaving the left, but did any of us really leave? Or were we shoved out, labeled as right-wing, and then called a traitor?
You know, this same thing kind of happened to Joe Rogan and various others of that nature. Like, Joe Rogan was a registered Democrat and was relatively like center left, but he didn't really like the direction that the Democratic Party was going, and so he shifted a little right. And I don't actually know what he identifies as, if he's Democrat or Republican. I don't know if he's still a Democrat or whatever. Like, I know that RFK Jr., the same thing happened with him. He too was a Democrat, but he also didn't like the direction that the Democratic Party had gone, and so he switched sides, to which people are obviously, like, on the far left are constantly shitting on him and accusing him of being an anti-vaxxer, even though he's not really an anti-vaxxer. He just wants to do, like within the context of the COVID vaccine, he didn't like the way that the COVID vaccine was handled with regards to, like, side effects that the government and the media tried to deny, that if you were to bring up these side effects, then you were basically silenced, and RFK Jr. didn't really agree with that.
A lot of us actually have a very moderate position, but unfortunately politics have been weaponized to such a degree that people will invalidate somebody's perspective by labeling them as their opposite political party.
Yep.
Conservative queer influencer. There's Blair White. There's Ariel Scarcella.
Oh, here we go, the deep dive, let's go.
Name drops you. They started saying trans women are
Oh, Sky has gotten into contact with this lady.
women, and I said, okay. And then they said, well, if you don't find trans women attractive, you're a bigot. And then I would say, like, I don't find every woman attractive. And then I was just like, you know what? Like, I don't have to say it that way. Like, I don't like dick. They started.
This actually reminds me of a video that I made regarding the murder of Jonathan Joss, where Joss's husband is actually a trans man, which meant that they were a biological female, which is actually at odds with the very definition of homosexuality, which implies same-sex attraction rather than same gender attraction, because they considered sex and gender to be different things, even though I personally don't see that much of a difference.
Using terms like genital preference instead of sexuality. Genital preference is the most
Genital preference. I've never heard that before.
homophobic thing you can say, and I literally went on Jubilee, and I said that to one of the people. They were like, "Let's."
Jubilee, of course. The frickin' one, it's a Jubilee. I've seen, like, I remember seeing this one between religious Jews and secular Jews. Nuxanor reacted to a Jubilee video between anti-vaxxers and this one doctor. And then Metatron made one between Jordan Peterson and various atheists. And the main criticism that Nux has is that they find the bottom of the barrel, lowest of the bottom rung, not finding anyone who's in between. Jubilee tends to find people in the extremes and not even have any real meaningful dialogue. They just find whoever's on the extreme ends and just lump them all together as if they represent the whole.
Genital preference. They, them, of course. And I was like, there's no such thing as genital preference. There's such a thing as sexual orientation. I want to suck a dick. And that was like the main thing that everyone, I knew it was going to go viral on Jubilee. Yeah. That's why I said.
Yeah, personally, as someone who is gay, who is attracted to males, because apparently it makes that much of a difference, I don't really want to be with a cis woman, even if they looked exactly like a man. I mean, there is, I don't know. I'd rather just be with a regular man.
Yeah. But it's like, it's literally the truth.
Well, that's what being a lesbian is not liking wiener.
What are the other reasons?
Yeah, and that's what being gay means, not liking pussy.
The left was because the complete changing of words and definitions. There's a big difference between being gay and being queer. Queer is an ideology. Being gay is just a sexual orientation.
Yeah, the thing is, the original definition of queer, it was originally a synonym for weird, as in weird, but now queer is kind of taken on a whole new meaning. I mean, here's the thing. There's semantic drift, where words change over time just because that's how it happened. Like with the word that sounds like fidget, originally meant a bundle of sticks until it became a slur for gay people, and in the UK it refers to cigarette butts. And the word gay itself originally meant happy, until it came to be used to mean same-sex attracted people. But when it comes to what she just mentioned with regards to the concept of queer, that seems to be more forced semantic drift, like, rather than simply just letting it happen naturally.
The truth is, we're not conservatives, really, the majority of us. We're
Yeah.
just not.
Basically, if you don't agree with 100% of their ideologies, you're called a homophobic Republican.
You can't even understand what they're
Yep, pretty much what Hassan and his orbit accuse Ethan Klein of being.
doing without reference to their queerness. The reason that they're saying these things is inextricably tied up with their queerness, right? So no, it doesn't mean like, oh, you're not gay if you're a Republican. It just means that you're a sort of self-annihilating gay person.
I actually feel the complete opposite. I feel like the LGBT people who are conservative have completely decentralized their sexuality as the core of their belief system. I think a lot of gay conservatives chose the right for reasons outside of their sexuality. Maybe they agree more with the economic policies, or maybe because they want less government involvement. There are reasons outside of gay rights that someone would choose to be Republican. Just like I personally know Democrats who own guns and support gun rights, there are
Well, that's actually a really good point that she just brought up. Like, I made a little skit joke video not too long ago where I had mentioned within that video that it is possible to have views on both sides of the spectrum. I made a very specific point where I said that it's possible to be both pro-gay marriage and anti-illegal immigrant, yet for some reason both sides of the political spectrum think that their sides are mutually exclusive from each other, even though, once again, it's possible to have views on both sides. But for some reason, if you do have views on both sides, then someone on one side is going to accuse you of being the other side. I know I keep saying side all the time, but what's with you and sides?
are gay people who support the Republican Party. Someone's sexuality doesn't have to be the sole dictator of how they believe the country should be run. It doesn't mean that they are self-hating or self-annihilating. They just don't make their sexuality the very center of their beliefs. Plus, we have to give credit where it's due. The traditional beliefs of each political party have shifted a lot. This idea that
Yep, the left has gotten even more left than it was before. The Democratic Party has more or less gone off the deep end. They keep catering to the far, far left that firebomb Teslas and cause riots and stuff. And they don't, because they know if they dare to call out the extremists, then the extremists are going to destroy them. I mean, that's pretty much what happened with that one Minnesota politician, I think. I think it was Minnesota. I don't remember her name, but she voted against a bill that would give illegal immigrants free health care or something like that. And she ended up getting murdered by someone on the left that was associated with, I think it was Tim Walz. I have to look it all up.
that the entirety of the Republican Party is against gay marriage is just no longer true. Trump casually walks around carrying a rainbow flag and has made
I've never seen this before. Oh my god, no. The members of my... Oh my god. Oh god. To the people on the Discord server that I mentioned, you know who you are. How does this image make you feel? I bet you guys are seething right now.
no effort to retract gay marriage like a lot of people said that he would try to. Every candidate has different values and goals. There are Republicans who hold some traditionally Democratic policies and vice versa. There's a big problem with purporting the idea that gay acceptance is something that could never exist on the right. Since when was the acceptance of gay people something to be gate-kept by the left?
No shit. Alright. Damn. No. That was a decent video. I wanted to make this as a sort of, I guess we can call it filler. I have a big video that I'm working on right now, and I just wanted to have a little extra like this on the side. But I think it's very important that I react to this kind of stuff so that people are aware that the LGBT community is not this gigantic, this monolith that only applies to one side. As Sky and I have made the argument, it is possible to be on the other side of the spectrum and be LGBT. But either way, I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and to the people of the Discord, you know who you are. I await your cancellation of me. Take care.